Guys, welcome. We're really excited to have you here. Excited to talk about XBuild. There's so much stuff to talk about, and I'm going to try to keep it brief today because what we have for you guys today is just version, I would say sub version 1. We're not even at 1.0 yet, but we are very close. There's a lot of stuff coming up, and we are really thrilled about this. So do we want to just move on with the agenda?
Let's go on, and I'll
Okay.
do a little review of the agenda and what we hope for you to get out of this, and then we're going to get into it. So we're going to talk through some outcomes. We always want to make sure that we know your time is valuable. This is why XBuild exists, to help you reclaim your time and save money. So we don't want to eat up a ton of your time doing this, but we're excited to share it with you. We're going to talk about the traditional insurance sales cycle versus using XBuild in it. We love reclaiming that time, shortening that cycle. We're going to talk really practically about how XBuild works, what you need to use it well, how you can supplement with XBuild, and then a quick demo. We're going to give you a little sneak peek as well of our PDF to ESX converter, which is a piece of the direction that we're heading as a business and a product, and then a little Q&A if we have time. So again, if you have questions, pop them in the questions tab, because you can see people are chatting. I don't want to lose your questions, but we can go to the next slide and just talk through some of the outcomes that we want for you to leave with today.
Yeah, there's going to be, we definitely want to make sure you guys leave with all the information you need about XBuild and what we're doing. And I think if you've been doing this and you've been working insurance for a while, you're going to be really excited about this. And those of you guys that are users now, thanks for joining us. We'll give you guys maybe some tips on how to use it better. Maybe you'll grab something cool here, but there's a lot to cover, and it's really revolutionary technology. So before we get started, I'm going to just kind of give you guys a quick.
Jonathan, you got it. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. I'm going to just give you guys a quick overview of who we are, where we come from, what this thing is. And if you really want to get deep into it, there's a YouTube video on American Contractors show with one of our founders, Sharuk. This company is it's an AI company. So we came, the founders are all in Silicon Valley. So they're all California guys. They're deep tech people. If I started naming off the stuff the projects that they've worked on, you guys more than likely have these offerings on your phone right now. And I'll just tell you real quick. So just to make it really transparent. So if you guys have Uber on your phone, the guy that was head of product that actually invented that entire concept of ride sharing, one of the first ones to do it is one of our founders, Jahan Khanna, and he's the main CEO of the company. So you guys are already familiar with us without even knowing that you're familiar with us, because that entire thing is something that he helped create and stand up. And this is the continuation of that. So Jahan, when he was at Uber, started doing the AI automations with their autonomous cars and all the other stuff that's going on. So if you go to Silicon Valley, you'll see like Waymos and all that good stuff. He was a driving force behind a lot of that technology. And he's taking all that expertise and now he's applying it to construction, which if you know anything about construction, it's very complicated. And so it's kind of a thing that Silicon Valley has strayed away from. So I joined the company last summer, became one of the guys that helped them build this thing out and really learn how to speak construction. Before me, they were just like trying to figure this thing out, and they were making progress, but it wasn't really where it needed to be. And now we've taken it to a whole nother level here with this. And this is just the beginning. As of this year, though, we have actually trained AI to look at building codes, to look at photos, to look at existing loss summaries if they exist. It doesn't have to be there, to even look at measurements and then determine based on that data set what actually needs to be put onto a roof. And so the AI is looking at the photos, looking at all these different things. It's writing an estimate, comparing that to building codes, comparing that to the measurements, and creating what we have, which is our XBuild report. And so we'll kind of go through that, and we're gonna go exactly into what that does. And we're gonna talk a little bit today on how to shorten your speed to money cycle, because this is like a big thing for you guys. And this is what XBuild is trying to solve, is we're trying to make sure that you guys get paid faster. And I'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about how to understand and use XBuild for reporting and supplementing, and how to optimize your insurance workflow. So it's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about. Retail and insurance. Yes, I might talk a little bit about that.
I was just asking if it's because we had a really lovely comment here about the first time I used XBuild, to say the least. I was more than impressed, and I was just curious if it's primarily doing insurance work or retail and insurance. I feel like largely the audience here will be doing insurance, so I'm just always curious to see. Yeah, I would actually, even in the chat, I would love to know if you're comfortable sharing. Are you doing insurance? Are you doing retail and insurance? Just drop it here while we continue on. John, you can feel free to keep going so we don't.
And I think everyone here probably does some form of insurance. If you're a roofing contractor, you have to.
Yeah.
At some point, you're going to run into this. So
feel free to, yes. And this is the other thing too that we would love to know. How long is your insurance job cycle from initial contact to final payment? Do you have that? Do you know that? I would be really curious to hear. Oh, okay, I see, like insurance 85 to 15%. Yep. And how much money does insurance typically leave off the table in your insurance jobs? This is not, there's no like right answer for this. We're just curious. A lot of, again, John's been in this space for a really long time. He probably has some answers he could throw out and they'd probably be the average. But we'd be curious, yeah, how long is your insurance job cycle, and how much money does insurance typically leave off the table? If you can drop that in there, and we can.
And if you don't know this answer, that's okay. But I definitely recommend that you figure this answer out, because it's a really important question to ask for your business. I've been in this space for 25 years, and I've seen this insurance process get pretty insane. Yeah, so Rob's answering my question for me. So it has gotten so much worse. It's gotten completely kind of out of hand in a lot of ways. And we'll talk about that today, and what's causing that and how we're trying to help solve that problem.
This checks out, like 45 to 60 days, 9 to 12 weeks. Also, this insurance estimate, 20K to 50K. That's all. Yes. This is what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. So
yeah,
we
2
want
weeks
you guys
to 2 years.
Scott's sending some to appraisal. So it's part of the process.
Well, this is helpful for us to know. Keep answering as we continue on, and I'll keep an eye on it.
So talk a little bit about my background. So I came from the insurance restoration space. I started supplementing in 2009. I was a sales rep. My dad was a contractor growing up. I'm a 5th-gen contractor. And when I got into this space and started selling roofs for myself is when I realized that we weren't getting paid for everything that we were doing. And that was my initial step into supplementing. I started doing it for myself, started doing it for other people in the company. Fast forward, I ended up starting one of the first supplement companies, ended up transferring that company to Balance Claims out of Indianapolis. And I was one of the partners there for a few years. We sold Balance in 2021. And what do you do when you sell a business and you have a background of construction? Well, you're like, what am I going to do with my time? And I started another roofing company. And so I want to talk about that, because one of the things that I did that was kind of unique was not necessarily unique, but I was trying to basically map out how I wanted to do this company and how I wanted to build it. And one of the things that I learned within the years of working with different people and learning from different coaches and different stuff, there's a guy named Mike Code, one of my favorite people in the roofing industry. Some of you guys may know who Mike is. He's kind of low key now, but back in the day, he was he was putting out a lot of newsletters and email stuff. And him and I got really close, and we were able to work together. But one of the things he taught me that was one of the biggest lessons in life is that money loves speed. It's speed meaning how fast can you turn your cash over and over and over again. The faster you do that, the more money you can make. It's all about, trying to figure out this thing. So we started doing Rob knows Mike. Mike's a beast. If you guys don't know Mike, go follow him. He's a monster. And so there were 2 different cycles that I was looking at. I was looking at the retail sales cycle versus the traditional insurance cycle. And I wanted to show you guys this little graphic, because real quick, if you guys do a retail job, you sell a job today and the homeowner says, hey, I need this roof on tomorrow. And they're saying, I have cash in hand. I'm willing to buy a roof right now. Here's my credit card. Sell me a roof, and I need to have it on my house tomorrow because my house closes on whatever the day after tomorrow is, Thursday. Okay. Can you guys do that? I'll type it in here real quick so you guys can look him up. Right? Everyone here said yes. I can do that roof tomorrow, right? If you had to pull the strings and you had to get everything done, so your sales cycle, literally, I mean, heck, if someone called me this morning, it's 12:15 right now, and they said I need a roof today, I could probably make a few calls. I mean, it's summer, days are long. I could probably get in my truck, hook up my trailer, go pick up material at ABC or wherever, and end up at that job site by. I'm thinking in my head, like if I had to do this, I could probably be at that job site by 2:00 and have the crew there, and I could have that roof put on today if I really, really had to, stretching it. And I could close the deal, be done, and I just made however much money I made on that job today. Okay. Retail is incredibly, incredibly fast, right? And yet here we are talking about insurance. And so when we were doing this thing, I sat down with who was going to be my GM of the roofing company at the time, my cousin, and I said, hey, dude, like I want to map this out. And so I said, let's create this thing, and I want to map out these two different scenarios, and you tell me which scenario is smarter to build your business on, right? And so we mapped out the retail one real quick, and we're like, hey, if we were in a normal cycle, if someone bought a roof today, I could order the material tomorrow. I could get the crew out there in a couple of days, but even average, I can get in and out of that job within 7 to 10 days, right? And be paid in full, done, not worried about it, job's completed, right? Retail sounds really good. And he said, well, what happens if there's an insurance job? And I said, well, if there's an insurance job, we're going to have to do a little bit different stuff here. So we wrote out, I did a chart like this for retail, and I did a chart like this for insurance. So you guys tell me if this looks pretty normal here. Your lead comes in, you got to inspect the roof, figure out if they have storm damage or if it's a retail job or whatever, and then they decide they're going to file a claim. You're 4 days in already, right? I could have built that roof and been out of there. Then we got to wait for an adjuster meeting. So now we're at day 18. Then we got to wait for insurance paperwork to come back. Now we're at day 25. And then finally we start to supplement, right, by day 28. And then we complete that supplement by day 49. Then we schedule the job by day 51. I'm already almost 2 months into this thing, and I haven't even, no one's done anything on this roof, right?
The 2 months to 2 years, like maybe not so far off.
Right. Then you finally can build the job. You get it through your production team. You QC the job. You do your final invoice. Your invoice is approved day 72. Get this from Allstate. And you finally get paid day 82. And I was just figuring like, hey, normal steps that you got to take if you're handling a bunch of claims, you're doing a lot of work, you're in a storm market. This sounds about accurate, right? You're talking 80 to 90 days on average from initial lead to final payment. I don't care who you are, what markets you're in, how much money you have. That's a long time for your money to be on the street. And you can fill a pipeline of this stuff, but it's part of this thing. And yeah, right, Rob, no payment for any of the hours that are invested. It's pretty unfortunate. And so this is one of those things that when people start to really understand what goes into insurance work, this is why so many businesses go out of business. This is why so many people don't make it in this business, is because this right here can cripple your entire business. It is one of the hardest things to do. And so cost of doing business. Come on, Scott. Now you're speaking insurance. So it's a terrible process no matter how you cut it. And you have two major contention points. And so when we break this thing down and we look at these steps here, step by step, steps 1 through 5 are completely out of your control as a contractor. There's nothing you can do about waiting for an insurance company to come out, waiting for things to happen. Steps, once you finally get everything done, you schedule the job. The only things that you really control is how quickly you can build it. And then after that, these final 3 steps here, submitting a final invoice, getting the invoice approved, getting your final payment, are 100% out of your control. So we broke this down. We're like, okay, how can we actually find areas that we can control? Now, I'm a roofer. I'm trying to figure out what to do here. And I started thinking about this little step here between 6 and 7, because 6 and 7 is really probably the most frustrating step. And I've been supplementing and teaching people how to supplement and doing this thing for 15 years, right? I know that this part, the supplement process, is the most, it's the most stressful piece of this entire thing. Like ordering materials, scheduling a job, getting a crew out there, that's not super stressful. You know, even an adjuster meeting's not that bad. Dealing with, filing a claim, all the rest of this. And Hunter just hit the nail on the head. And customers are the most frustrated during that part as well. And so I
If you
said,
want to
how do
skip
we?
ahead, John, to you can see they can visualize those two steps there. So thinking through just traditionally and then going into like, this is where we're focusing right here.
We are focusing on this specific pain point because we know this is the most terrible pain point in this entire process. And customers being frustrated is the byproduct of this, and it's probably the worst, especially when they're seeing that other roofers are building jobs and getting things done. And what they're a lot of times doing is they're skipping the supplement process completely, and they're just saying, you know what, we're just going to take what the insurance pays and do this and just try to get out of this thing as quick as we can. And they're leaving thousands of dollars on the table. But at the same time, it's like, what do you do? How do you solve this problem? And how do you get paid for all the work that you do?
And
And that's
additionally, I will say, going back up to as well to step 5, we could have circled that as well, the insurance paperwork piece, because that is essentially, that's XBuild. And then
right.
going through to this supplementing piece.
And so what we said was, how do we make this process easier? And you got to understand what supplementing is, how it works, what it's actually trying to accomplish in order to really understand the problem. And so I want to break down for a second before we get into what you need here to get started with us. I want to talk about supplementing as a whole. What are we trying to accomplish? What is our end game? Our end game is to create a estimate, right? We're trying to get paid for all the work that we do, but why does this process even exist to begin with? And so I want to put this in a different lens today. I want to talk a little bit about insurance companies, and we're gonna flip the table a little bit. I want you guys to think that you are an insurance company. You're not a roofer anymore. You are now a insurance company. Your job is to collect premiums from homeowners or policyholders, right? Take that money, set it into a bank account, and if something catastrophic happens, their house gets hit with hail, Sancho's car gets destroyed with hail, they now have to pay those claims out, right? You are now the adjuster. You're now the insurance company CEO. Let's put it that way, okay? And I want to talk about why supplementing exists, because back in 2003, 2002, when we started doing this, we were throwing tennis balls over roofs before Eagle View and trying to measure and count tabs and do all crazy stuff that we had to do back then. Insurance companies typically would pay us for a decent amount, right? We didn't have to fight with them. There wasn't a whole lot of back and forth going on. It was basically like, here you go, like this is sufficient, and they paid it. It was pretty decent upfront. Well, then things started to shift. And when you start to understand what happened in that shift, I'll kind of give you guys a little bit of insight in that. So when I started teaching contractors, I started getting insurance companies coming to my classes. And I was like, why are these carriers sending these people to my classes? And they would show up and they would want to, they would sit in the class and, whatever. So finally one day I grabbed one of them and said, hey, man. And I was an adjuster after this for a little bit. But before I was an adjuster, I asked this guy, I said, hey, man, I'm like, so you're an insurance, you work for the insurance company. I have no idea what you do. Why are you in my class? More or less in a very nice way. That's what I asked, right? Like we just started talking. How'd you like it? Whatever. And so this guy starts to tell me he's with a department of the insurance called SIU, which is a special investigative unit. Okay. I didn't know what SIU was. I didn't know what it stood for. He just said, I work with the SIU department. I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? It turns out they basically are former law enforcement that go around and they go check these things out. So we started talking. I was curious what SIU did besides just go and check on my supplementing classes where I taught contractors how to get paid for the work that they did. He was really cool. And, we had a great conversation. Turns out SIU is not just looking at trainers necessarily, but they're also going back and looking at roofs that are built by homeowners, okay, or by contractors. So they're going back after contractors left. And I've been supplementing for a long time. I've worked on tens of thousands of claims. I've seen photos from contractors all over the country. And what's funny is every now and again, we would come across these contractors that would send us their post-production photos and their pre-production, because they were doing post-production supplementing, which I'm a huge fan of, but we could talk about that later. And they were like, hey, like, I'd call them and be like, hey, like, you want me to add the drip edge on here, but you didn't actually replace the drip edge. You didn't actually replace the step flashing, you reused it. And they're like, yeah, but we still want to get paid. Okay. So like, that's weird, but that's a pretty odd thing to do. Well, I wasn't the only person that noticed that as a supplementer. The insurance companies caught wind of that. So if you're an insurance company CEO and you know for a fact, because SIU's come back and said, hey, contractor ABC down here didn't actually replace the drip edge, they reused it. And this contractor over here reused the step flashing. And this contractor over here did this. And like they're catching these little things, and they might be one-offs. It might not be an industry-wide thing, but it's a situation where it does happen. If you are the insurance company CEO and your job is to protect the investors' money, make sure that the fund stays good, that the insurance company has all the funds that they need, and to ultimately make a profit so they can afford a Super Bowl commercial, are you going to just pay out every single time that you write an estimate these things? Come on, it's your money now. It's you're the insurance company CEO. You know that not every contractor replaces the drip edge. Are you going to pay for the drip edge on every single claim? Jonathan said, I'd pay for his PWI. It's a numbers game. You're right. It is a numbers game because they're looking at mass numbers, 100%. No, of course you're not going to pay for it. If you are the insurance company, your job is to make a profit so that you can get your next bonus. That's what Scott said. We're talking. We're on the same level today, Jeff Ruby's, and we're 100% aligned here, Scott.
Scott, you need to come visit in Indy.
So, so no, the reality is you're not going to. And when I was an adjuster, I went and worked claims after Hurricane Irma. I got what is called guidelines. And my guidelines stated what I could and couldn't pay. And I didn't know what they were. I kind of overlooked the email, which I tend to do quite often. And so I got this set of guidelines. And when I wrote my first 5 estimates as an adjuster, because I'm like, I'm the big powerful adjuster with my emergency license for the state of Florida, I wrote those estimates to include everything that needed to be on that roof because I knew what needed to be on that roof as a contractor. And I'm like, no one's going to ever supplement this. Plus, I'm going to get paid a little more because I get paid a tiered scale. And so I turned them into my desk adjuster and to my boss. And they were like, hey, you can't pay for that, when he lines off a whole bunch of things. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't pay for that? Like, that's what needs to be done on this roof. He's like, did you look at the guidelines? Adjusters, when they write initial estimates, they have to follow the guidelines that are preset by the carrier. And the carriers got justification for their guidelines based on the activities of certain contractors. Now, I'm not saying anyone here is doing that, but at the same time, understand that while you may not be doing it, if your competition is doing it, or someone down the street is doing it, or there's a truck in a truck doing it, that's going to affect what the insurance company's perception is of the entire industry. And that is why supplementing exists, because at the end of the day, you can be a reputable contractor and get paid for all those things, but that's what we exist to do. And our entire job and what we've tried to build here is a way for you to get paid faster and easier by providing the right data required to do it on the first shot. At the end of the day, the first estimate that you send to the insurance company, it doesn't matter if we're supplementing or you're supplementing, when you send that estimate to the insurance company, that supplement request, they are going to judge you 100% off of what that is. That is the first impression of you that they have, is what did you actually ask them for? And think about this. If you are a desk adjuster and you are getting loads and loads of estimates from contractors all day long, and they're just sending you an Xactimate, or maybe they sent you a handful of photos, or maybe if you're lucky, it's an Xactimate with some code items in it, some F9 notes. But if you're just doing this all day long and your job is to justifiably pay that, and your job's on the line, and you like your job because they give you a nice coffee bar at the old headquarters there, you don't want to just lose your job because you paid for something that a contractor requested and didn't work. And while we can discuss property and policy guidelines or code or anything else, it's ultimately, though, they are writing it the way that they write it, and it's up to us. The burden of proof falls on us as contractors to provide them with the right data sets to actually get these things approved. The problem is, to write a proper supplement takes a lot of time. It can take hours out of your day. And I'm going to kind of walk you guys through. Rob, you're right. This is why XBuild is a great help. No, we basically made the process super simple and had the AI actually generate the most amazing report that you would ever see when it comes to supplementing. And that's why our supplement numbers are so high. That's why we're able to recover money faster and at a higher clip than most other companies. And I'm talking and it's an experienced person that has done this for years. A traditional supplement company that writes traditional estimates that are still well-written estimates don't get nearly the amount of average returns than we get. Our average supplement number is much higher. It's almost triple what a traditional supplement company gets. And it doesn't matter if you use our reports with our company or you use them yourself. Those reports are super valuable because they check all the boxes that the adjuster needs in order to make a decision. And so I'm going to walk through this. Should I go right into XBuild, Sancha?
I was just going to say, one of the things, yeah. Okay, we need to chat with you. I am just loving what's showing up in the chat. This is fun. I'm going to connect with you after. But yeah, I think one of the things that's worth noting, yeah, I think you can get into it, but it's just worth noting that what you need to be able to use XBuild effectively
Yeah, but let's
is
talk
the
about that.
list. The list is very small. So I think
Yeah.
let's just hit that super quick and then we can go into the demo because this is it.
Yeah. So this is all we need right here. Okay. Job info, photos. If you have a scope, you don't have to have a scope, but if you have one, it's great. XBuild can actually write without a scope. So you can actually order an XBuild report before you even meet the adjuster and have it in hand, ready to go. And measurements. That's it. That's all the system needs, and it's going to pull the rest of the data itself. And if you don't have measurements with your report, we can order an Eagle View. Our system does default to Eagle View, but it can read any type of measurement report that you send it. So if you use JF, the quick squares, or you use Roofar reports, or you use hovers, whatever you use, the system will read it. Roof scopes. But if we're going to order it, we do default to Eagle View just because we know that could be a contentious point sometimes in the supplementing process. So we try to cross that bridge ahead of time. But the system itself can read anything. And what it's going to do, it's going to digest all this data. And I'm going to kind of walk you guys through what a sample report like and then how to actually use it. But the sample report is really simple. It's going to actually look a lot like a lot of the retail estimates that you'll see in the marketplace. But it'll have a cover page with the homeowner's house there pulled from the photos that you provide. Now, you could actually technically write one without photos, but it's not going to be as accurate as one with photos. But it's going to have the cover page. It's going to have a summary page. So talking a little bit about the project itself, storm dates, all that good stuff. It's going to have an Xactimate. That Xactimate is going to be written in a way that the insurance company can see it. So if you look through here, it's got the line items up here at the top, number 1 through 6 is what the insurance company approved. Number 7 was an approved item, but we adjusted it. The AI looked at it and said, no, they didn't include enough starter. Supplement line items. It's going to break it down. We're not using Sumo Quote, but we are very big fans of Sumo Quote. It's got all of the all the supplement line items, all the code references inside of the F9 notes. It's going to have a measurement report in there. It's going to have a breakdown of what codes apply to that address, and it's going to have weather data if the data loss matches one of the weather dates. Now you can change that. Morgan can explain that to you later if you want to, but this is our report. And then best of all, though, it's also going to include a photo report. And the AI actually goes through these photos, puts them in a logical order. So you see where it says inspection photos here on the top. It'll have inspection photos. It'll have summary of damage photos. It'll have exterior photos, siding photos, gutter photos. And it'll have all these photos. And you can put in there as many photos as you want. It'll break them down and actually tell you hey, this is a photo of hail damage. This photo right here shows granule loss because it sees granules in the gutters. It's looking at all the shingles. It's figuring out what it is. So it's very, very robust report. So when you give this report, whether it is an initial estimate with the insurance company or you give it to the insurance company as a supplement, you're basically, that adjuster is going to have all the data they need to be able to approve your estimate quickly. And what I like to see contractors do too, and this is, if you're doing it in-house, this is kind of a good practice, is I don't like to send an insurance company. If I'm a contractor and I'm doing a supplement in-house, I'm not sending this to the insurance company without the homeowner involved as well. I actually address it to the homeowner and CC the insurance company because I'm trying to force the insurance company to tell the homeowner no and not me no, since I'm a third party, a contractor. I'm not, the policy isn't between me and the insurance company. It's between the insurance company and the homeowner. If I send it to the homeowner and say, hey, Miss Jones, we got your estimate from the insurance company. Looks like they missed a few things. Here's a copy of a detailed estimate. By the way, I've included the adjuster in this email for him to review. Let me know. Let's get this thing on the books. That type of terminology usually makes things move a lot faster, because now you're forcing the insurance company to tell the homeowner no, which is, at that point, that's a different conversation. They can tell us no all day. We can ask for the moon and they'll say, no, we're not giving it to you. Or they can say, yeah, we're going to give you the moon. And then they don't give it to us. And then we're just like, whatever.
And I will say too, additionally on that, there is like a homeowner trust piece here too, because it is like it's a purchase that a homeowner doesn't make very often. Very likely the homeowner hasn't submitted a claim for their roof before, maybe once before, but for a lot of people, it will be their first time doing that. And so there is like an education piece of the homeowner as well, building that trust, which then tees up future repairs for them and business with them. And so this is just like an all around great way to include the homeowner in that.
I'm screenshotting some of this, by the way, guys.
I'm on it, John. You're the subject matter expert here. I'm on it. I got you.
So that's what the report pulls out, and it's all done. And if I've been supplementing for a long time, I know Xactimate pretty well. I've written a lot of Xactimates, but for me to create a report like this, especially if I've got 10 jobs on my desk, there's no way I'm going to get to this and write one of this detail, this nature. And so as a supplementer, if I had a report like this to give to the insurance company, I'm going to have a lot better results, a lot faster. And I'm going to save myself a ton of time, because this would take me 2 or 3 hours to create an entire report of this caliber.
Do you want to show them how easy it is?
Yeah, let's walk into it. Let me get.
We're going to stop sharing and reshare here for a second. But truly, like, I'm loving reading these comments in the chat. I think it's fun. Like the company that I first started working for was the roofing company that actually built Sumo Quote. So insurance was my world, and getting in claim after claim after claim, that was my world for a long time. So while I wasn't in the supplementing space, definitely appreciate what XBuild does, which is why I'm here. I'm really excited about it. John, take us away.
So I'm going to pull up this job that I was just showing you guys, if I can find it here. That was okay. Let's see if I've got it here. That's not the one. So hold on a second. That's a different one. Let me find her here. 5380. Okay. Here we go. That's not it either. Okay. But anyways, this is not the right job. But either way, all the stuff's in here. So if you guys want to see kind of what the actual output looks like, we give you the inspection reports. So this would be the photo reports, building codes. This is a full building code, so it's like 30 pages long. This is if the adjuster asked for it. And then the summary of the XBuild report, which is what I just showed you guys. You actually get all the scope PDFs. So pre-existing loss summaries in here. The insurance company stuff's in here. The actual XBuild estimate. You have measurements. You have the measurement report in here. You have the weather report, so you can pull that up. So all these separate files, and you get all the ESX files as well, and a special CSV file that we create internally. But all this stuff's included in this report, so you don't have to wonder if that data is there. This is the actual, I have this open right now, but this is our, these are all the photos that I included are in here, so you can see them. You can see what labels were added to them. So like this one's showing, hey, this is shingles. There's hail damage present. You can add more stuff to it if you want. You can exclude it from the report. But I had 359 photos on this file. This is kind of more or less just a summary of what is on that. Now you can go in here and start to edit some of this stuff and actually request a revision if you wanted to. But it's pretty simple to do this. But to kind of walk through it, now, some of you guys won't see this PDF TSX thing, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but this is how you actually input it. It's super fast, and you can start, and I'll talk a little bit about this, but this is about to change in about, I'll say 4 weeks, just to be safe.
And we will give you a heads up. And
yes, we will give you a heads up, but it's going to be a lot easier to even do it now. This was rewritten and released in January, but you basically start with a pre-existing loss summary. You drop it in there. and it could be anything you want. Like you could just put one in there, and then it'll start to read it, or you can start doing it without it. But it can see this. Now I think this is a file that I actually wrote, so it's going to be a little bit weird. But it'll actually scan the scope. It'll pull all the documents, do everything out of that. You upload the measurements, you upload the photos, same exact way, and it'll actually. This is how you request your job with XBuild. It takes about 3 to 6 minutes to do this, depending on, like, not to do this, but to do this entire process, depending on how long, or depending on how detailed you want to get with this, but you don't have to get super detailed with it. But the AI is actually going to read everything, figure out what's on there, figure out the trades, let you break it down. You can add additional trades, you can add additional structures to it, and it'll be it's a complete estimate at that point. You can customize it. Now, once it's been written, you could actually revise it within the platform itself too. So it'll actually give you like the opportunity that if you wanted to, you can go in there and you can say, hey, I need a revision, and you can do it a couple different ways. So if you do it this way, you can request a revision, enter your revision notes here, submit it. It'll put it in a revision queue. You can write different notes, whatever else. All your communications are stored in here. So if this job does go to supplementing, anything that you have going on in here is there. It does also, I don't know if you guys saw this external links here. There's a company cam link. So you can give us just a gallery link of your company cam, and it'll extract all the photos out of that. You can give us a if we are connected and integrated with your CRM, we can go in and pull your photos out of your CRM as well, or you can drop them from a Google Drive link, or just manually put the photos into the system. It's up to you how you want to upload photos, but there's also other links for your CRM, different stuff, a lot of communications, push back and forth, and we can get deeper into that in an onboarding if you guys wanted one. But this is how it's done now. Once you've got the report, if you decided that you want to send it to supplement, you can actually select the insurance company, enter the claim number, and send the job to supplementing, and our team can supplement it for you. But that's completely up to you. You don't have to use the system that way. You can use it just to generate reports. And that report that I showed you guys is extremely, extremely powerful. It's very, very not expensive. So we could talk about that too. Can you guys hear me?
We've got thumbs up.
Okay, cool. Making sure, because Josh can apparently hear background and no voice. So, but yeah, this is the system. This is how it works. And if there's any questions about it, this report that I just showed you guys in its entirety, off the shelf, if you were to log in and start buying one, it is it's $99. So you can buy as many or as a few. There's no subscription to our service. It's 100% per use. You can have all your team in there. So if you go in here, you can see your team. You can see, what payments you've made. You can see your jobs, your dashboard. It's all right there in front of you, and it's super easy to navigate. It's one of the best built systems in our industry. And you won't see all of this stuff because it's all internal stuff, but you will see, though, these tabs up here at the top. So
can you show, I was just looking at the chat here, but just like where, if they wanted to, so they had a job and they wanted to send it to supplementing, what that process would be, and then also just a sneak of the converter as well.
Yeah. So to send a job to supplementing,
and then we will answer some questions.
Yeah, you can hit send to insurance up here at the top, and XBuild will send it to insurance. It's a hybrid of some AIs, kicking it off, doing a lot of the communications, the written communication, and then there's humans involved as well that are making the calls, following up on a cadence in order to get those approvals. That's how you just hit that one button. It'll have it there. It already populated. You can hit supplement claim, and just like that, it goes right into supplementing. And we charge 10% of the increase for that service. Now,
which you're seeing some of the comments in there, which is really cool. Like the amount increase is substantial. And so, yes, that is something worth considering. We will have next steps later, but if you have tried ordering reports and you haven't supplemented yet, it might be worth trying that out on your next claim, and to see the impact it has.
Now, I'm going to show you guys this PDF DSX converter. Now, this is a new feature, and a lot of our new workflows are going to look more like this. So let me grab a file here. This is an Xactimate I'm pulling in here. And what it's going to do real quick is this is in order. Let's say that you just wanted to copy and paste. If you're a supplementer, everyone knows like the first step you have to do is you have to take the existing insurance PDF and turn it into an ESX that you can then edit. Okay. We decided, hey, like we already have this capability. Let's just open this up. If somebody wanted to do this and save themselves that extra step and just have a bunch of ESXs that they can just upload right into their Xactimate and then make their adjustments and send it off, let's at least open this up. So we went ahead and built this new workflow out for this, which is actually the framework for our new workflow that comes out later this year. But this will be able to do a lot of the same things. It's going to be a lot more of a Q&A style thing than just like a bunch of menus and stuff, but pull the same thing out. So it's able to extract 17 line items. Now it's just going to match those to Xactimate category and the selectors that what the actions are, the action codes. So it's literally just scanning it and determining what is on that ESX file or that PDF in order to turn it into an ESX file. And so it's able to do this. And this takes the entire process. By the way, the full report takes around, we always say less than 24 hours. You should expect it back within, I've seen them as quick as 30, 40 minutes and as long as maybe 4 or 5 hours. Just depends on the queue and how many instances we have going at once. So it could take, just depends on the volume. I think yesterday we had close to 100 reports that were written. And so it's, it just depends on the day. But they're always going to come back within 24 hours though.
And the idea is that you could have this running. You could have multiple running and also be selling and dealing with the busy work of running a business or on the roof. Yes.
And Rob, another thing too with this, I noticed that you're talking about the PDF to ESX converter. If you have a long Xactimate, let's say you have one that has like siding, doors, windows, all these different things going on. You've got 200 line items. It's able to do that. So Alan's asking, as it the AI recognizes the PDF line items to rewrite somewhere, is it fully converting the files? So it's actually recognizing the PDF. Now we prefer, I'm just going to tell you this out the gate here, that you give us the native PDF. So like if you give us like a scanned version of it, or you took it with your phone and use like a phone to scan thing, it may be a little bit different. But if you happen to have the native one, it's going to be a lot faster because sometimes it'll mess up when it does the scan ones. Like it won't be able to read something right. And so it'll mess it up. But if you're able to give us the actual native PDF, like the insurance company sent over the PDF, drop that in there and it'll do it. So here it is. It lined out all the line items, said here's what's on this Xactimate, and then you just confirm it and you're good to go. And so
we do have a link at the bottom. You'll see there's links in the chat and the questions. Roy, we actually had a question like that in the question box as well, so we can get to that here in a second.
This was one that I did. This one turned. Oh, this is I canceled this one. Sorry, hold on one second. My bad. I showed you guys one that I canceled because I did this one twice. Okay, here we go. So this one's right here. This one's got the ESX. It's got the this is the estimate that it gave it. It's ready to go. So now you have this ESX file. You can download it. Obviously, we can't view an ESX file, but it did an exact thing. It just turned a PDF. So you had the insurance paperwork into an ESX. I can then just drop that right into my Xactimate and start working on it. So if you guys wanted that ability, it's there. Josh can meet with you guys to get you guys set up for that. It's a little bit different process.
I just popped a book a link notification if that's something, or book a meeting right in there. And also in the links tab, there's like, there's a couple of things in there too.
Alan, would it be able to recognize a custom line item? If it sees something super weird, it might send it to a QC, but we can't get it done. So it's not an unknown thing. Sometimes that does happen, but for the most part, we can't get it done. Can this report be for public adjusters? That's a great question. And yeah, we have a lot of PAs that use this, especially a lot of PAs requested the PDF TSX piece specifically because they have such big estimates sometimes that they wanted the ability to be able to turn those into ESX files really quick. And so that is also available.
I was going to say one of the questions that we had, and we can just, are you cool if we just hop into a couple? There are just a few. So yes, we had someone say, I own a public adjusting firm licensed in various states with more than 15 adjusters. How can this assist my team with filing claims on behalf of the policyholder?
Can you say the question one more time?
Yeah, and it's in here too in the question tab if you
Okay.
want.
Oh, yeah, I clicked it. Okay.
I own a public adjusting firm licensed in various states with more than 15 adjusters. How can this assist my team with filing claims on
Yeah,
behalf
so
of
we can
policyholders?
create the reports for you. We can do the PDF to ESX converter. As far as the back and forth with the insurance company, the negotiation part, especially if you're, and I'll use that term because you are a public adjuster, that's something that we're not really at the moment set up to do. We've had a lot of PAs ask us for that ability, but we can at least get you guys a report and really get it going for you. Our team is currently, now we should talk about this offline, but our team is currently set up to do like contractor to insurance company conversations. So we work on behalf of the contractors. So if we call, we're saying, hey, we're this contractor, here's our estimate, we're ready to go. We want to build this roof. Here's all the stuff. What do you need from us? That's what we're basically doing. But at the end of the day, like if you're a PA, the process is a little bit different because you have more of more authority in the file, and our terminology doesn't really equate. So, but we can talk about that offline.
And I grabbed, they left contact info, so we have that in the question box as well. So that's great. A couple in here. One was just, I know you're not using Sumo Quote for the estimates, but the way you group everything together and include a photo of the house at the beginning looks similar. Can you share what software you're using to add the photo at the start of the report?
So we own all our own IPs. So
Yes.
everything that you see is our in-house software. Other than obviously we write an Xactimate, but we use all this technology that you guys have seen, the UI, everything there, that is our source code.
And so for that front photo, like that's a part of the output.
Yeah. That's part of what we built out.
Mm-hmm. So it's a part of it. Yes.
And you guys use Sumo? Yeah, we that's part of our thing. So
yes. What if we have XBuild write the scope before we receive the original scope from the insurance? How would pricing work?
Same price, $99 for the report. Now, if we go to insurance at that stage, like if we're going to help with the insurance process, then we do charge 5.5% of the entire claim, but we have very few contractors that do that. Most of the time, as far as supplementing is concerned, we get involved after the fact. But if you're just wanting an estimate, it doesn't matter if there's a scope or no scope. If it's a from scratch estimate, that's the same price. It's $99 for the report.
Do you have any paperwork we need to file with the carrier so you can communicate on the insured's behalf, or should we use our own communication authorization?
If you have one, that's super helpful. Some contractors do. And what you can do if you have something like that is let us know. We can put that into your company profile. So like if you have certain things that you like to see on every single one of your estimates every time, like I know some people like use catch-alls or do something crazy, like, or you have an authorization like that. Give us a copy of that or include it when you're in the system, you can upload any documents you want to upload into the system just by hitting this add button. And so if you have an authorization or letter or something that's specific to that job, you can add it. If you have one that's covering all of your jobs, we have some contractors that have something like that. We can include them in that report every single time for your company specifically. So we just need to know those things up front, and then we can build them into your company parameters.
We also had for supplementing, you just talked about the 10%. Hunter just asked, this would be the amount above and beyond what the original scope was from the adjuster?
Correct. Okay. The delta. So if we recover $1,000, it's $400.
I was going to say here, I was on a slide, but we don't need to go back to it. I was just going to say, feel free if there's any more questions, please pop them down there. But basically, if you are in a position where you are curious about using that converter, again, there was a little pop-up and there's a link in the links tab. Additionally, if you're curious about supplementing, same thing. If you've been ordering reports, so you'd get your first free. If you've never ordered, your first report is free. So in the links tab as well, go log in, try it out, and order your first report. And then after that, you move into that $99 and then try supplementing and check out the converter. There's a meeting book there. 10%. That 10%, was 10%. That was really
Richard.
4,000.
Yeah, 4,000.
John is not John needs coffee.
Bill used one report, exports ice and water on the report. Okay, the insurance company pushed back on the national code versus what local code enforced, which was not required. How do you handle the settlement process that line item dead in the water at that point? That's I'd have to get deeper into that situation, but we've seen that happen. Now I want to preface something. Anytime that the insurance company makes an approval of any type, we kick that back to you and say, hey, this is where they're at. Okay. If they come back with something like that and you're like, no, I want to push harder on this, I want to go for it again, you can always try again. Like we can reopen that. We never like technically close a file. So we could go back and ask them and push that issue specifically. Like we're just going to tell you like, hey, they've agreed to this, and this. They said no to this ice and water shield in this example. What do you want us to do? At that point, we're basically letting you decide, like as a contractor, do you want to continue fighting this? Do you have more documentation you can give us to make it easier? That's up to you. We can try again. Will we have success? I can't guarantee it, but we can at least make another attempt at that point. We basically give that option to you guys. So we don't want to try to, because some of you guys are just like, no, we're good with that. Let's just move on. I'll eat it. I just want to get this job built. Cool. By all means, here you go build it. But it's up to you. So Bill, in that case, if you want us to handle it, we can keep going. It's not necessarily dead in the water. It just means we may have to try a different approach to get them to pay that. Sometimes people give us manufacturer specs, different things that could help that. A national code might be helpful, but our code library, we build it out. We're continuously updating it. If you guys, just for you guys to see, like, for example, this sample I showed you guys, I didn't get deep into this, but within the building code report, this is what it looks like. So this is the full, like, comprehensive building code report. So it's going to have all the building codes in here that imaginable for that specific address. We don't give this to them up front. It's in your files if you need it. It's not part of the main report, and that's because of the constraints around the inbox constraints that carriers have. So that's where that is. So
Amazing.
Steven, that's awesome. I'm happy.
Yeah, Steven, we need to hang because I want to hear all about this. And we're coming to the end of our time. So I so appreciate your questions and you guys, sharing some of these stories with us. Because again, we believe in this. We're excited about it. Our goal is to help you reclaim some of your time and run successful businesses. And like, that's John and I both, like, this is the industry that we come from, and that's something we're passionate about.
This is just the beginning, guys. And so if you really start to think about this, and I'm going to tease you a little bit. I'm not going to give you too much, but I'm going to tell you, think about where this can go. Imagine if you move away from some of the constraints around Xactimate and using third-party softwares and start applying this in other areas of your business, and then think of what AI can do in other areas of your business and how this can begin to progress. There's a long runway here for us to go down. And so we're tippity top of the iceberg right now. So
and we're grateful for you being here for this part and building it into your workflow.
Understand the foundation's been set. AI can now look at photos, identify components within photos. We've been able to train our agents to actually read building codes. It can now read measurement reports. What else can it do?
We'll leave you there. And we so appreciate you coming and hanging out. We'll probably do more of these in the future. Yes. Oh my gosh. So fun. Okay, Rob,
we need to talk too.
We need to hang out too. Okay. We're so appreciative.
We hung out. I remember Rob at Job Nimbus at the event.
Summit.
Yes.
Rob. Yes, we had dinner. We did. Okay, we'll have to have dinner again.
Yes, we did. Yes, we need to hang out. We talked about Jeff Ruby's then. I owe you dinner. It will happen. I promise.
See, I told you John would promise someone dinner. This always happens. Okay. Thank you all for coming. We so appreciate it. And we will send you a follow-up email with this recording as well if you want to dig into it at all or share it with your team. So we appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.